Welcome to another edition of RAMily Bonding. This is episode 3. Emmanuel Berbari, joined by Fordham men's basketball head coach Jeff Neubauer and former Fordham basketball coaches Nick Macarchuk and Frank McLaughlin. Guys, thanks for being here.
Pleasure, Manny. Pleasure to be here.
Let's start with you, Coach. How's the preparations going for the season? Obviously a very difficult time. How's the team responding?
Yeah, we've got a lot of experience on this Zoom call, but I don't think anyone here has ever dealt with anything similar to this pandemic. I mean, just one of a kind situation. So we've endured a 14-day quarantine. Our guys did not leave their dorm rooms for literally 14 days. And when we got back on the court, it looked like they hadn't left their beds for 14 days. So we're working our way back, really eager to play a challenging schedule this year.
Coach, you've talked a lot in the past about how the game has changed and now you have more access to the players than these two men had even in the past. How much does this, what you're dealing with right now, align with maybe what college basketball used to be?
Yeah, it's a great question. So, Frank, there probably were no rules back when you were coaching. I'm not sure. But I know when Coach Macarchuk was in charge, there were no summer workouts at all. And the coaches couldn't touch their guys until October 15th. That's kind of the situation we're in this year, where we weren't able to practice all summer, which, going back to Coach Macarchuk's teams, he was used to that. That was part of the job.
Coach Macarchuk, how does this compare with what you had to deal with in your career?
Well, I look at the game now, and it's really changed. I mean, from certainly when we were at Fordham, and I'm sure with Frank, when he was an assistant coach with Digger at Fordham, with that great 70 team. But everything now is like high screens. No sets, kind of open it up. You go play, you start off with a high screen, and then you go from there. So from that standpoint, it's really changed. And then ball reversals, dribble penetration, kick the ball for threes. I mean, you look at Fordham and the number of threes that they shoot in a game, and most teams are shooting at least 25 to 30% of threes, which is completely different from when we played, and I'm sure it's completely different from when Frank was the assistant coach with Digger.
Coach McLaughlin, is that the main evolution in your mind, the high volume of shooting?
Well, first of all, I want to say this. I was fortunate to be involved with the 70-71 team, and I was a spectator with Nick's great team. And I want to say this. Nick did a phenomenal job. He's a very special person. He's a great coach. And he took a group of guys, and I think there was one point during that season, Nick, he won 17 in a row or something like that. And it was very exciting. The Rose Hill Gym was always sold out and stuff like that. And I just have a couple of memories of Jean Prelude hitting game-winning threes, one at Lehigh, I believe, and then up at Holy Cross. So we went up there as heavy underdogs, and Nick's team pulled it out, and Prelude hit a three at the buzzer to beat Holy Cross. And the Fordham students at that time used to have a chant, the Bronx is in the house. And these obnoxious Holy Cross fans couldn't believe that there was a group of people that were proud being from the Bronx. And then Nick went down and played a very good South Florida team. And we upset South Florida at South Florida. And I can remember George Steinbrenner being at the game and a group of Fordham students being on spring break coming to the game. And Steinbrenner just loved the fact when they started chanting, the Bronx is in the house. And then the 70-71 team was it was a once-in-a-lifetime kind of thing. Digger was very young. He was 29. I think I was 23. And none of us knew what the hell we were doing. And but we were very relaxed. Digger took a team that was 10-15. And then miraculously, it was sort of interesting, Jeff, in the sense of the expectation levels were not that high. All of a sudden, the team started gelling and winning games they shouldn't have won. And then they started playing with more confidence. I mean, you're talking about a team that beat Syracuse and Boston College and at Georgetown. I mean, Pitt, Seton Hall. I mean, they beat everybody. And but it was a group of guys that there was a very low expectation for, but they believed in each other and did miraculous things.
Yeah.
I'd like to just jump in here for a second because the other day I was coming back from grocery shopping because that's the highlight of my week. I get one day a week when I can go out and shop. So I really looked at the tomatoes very carefully to make sure that they're the kind that I like in my salad. But I was thinking about how, and Jeff started out talking about this, how difficult it is to coach right now. I spoke with Dagan Nelson, who's the head basketball coach at NYU. Our grandson, Nick, is a junior at NYU. And I said to him, how in the heck can you get through each day? Just with the things that you have to do. How do you recruit now? How do you coach? It's just completely different. It's something that no one has ever experienced before. And now all of a sudden, these 365 Division I coaches and Division II, and NYU's not even going to play basketball this year. The Ivy League is not going to play basketball this year. So there are just so many things that hang in the balance as to how this virus goes. And practice every day, and Jeff's had to quarantine his players for 14 days. It's a difficult job anyhow, Jeff, but this just makes it so much more difficult.
Yeah. And
Hey, Nick, can I just add here? This is really funny. I was talking to Ed Call, our great athletic director, the other day, and since he's a baseball guy from Stony Brook, I said to him, I said, this basketball season is going to be like Dan Gallagher was with baseball. They would schedule like 60 games. You'd cancel a game on Tuesday, and the next thing you know, he's playing a doubleheader on Wednesday. So really, Jeff, you're like a baseball coach now. It's a day-to-day thing.
yeah, let's play two, right?
Yes, exactly.
Well, I think this goes beyond college basketball, but the thing that everyone's going to get out of this pandemic is we simply appreciate things now that we've taken for granted for many, for our lifetimes. So, we are learning to really appreciate how great it is simply to be on the court and be able to be at a practice with our team.
I think that's a really good point. When you look at two of the former coaches here throughout this time, it's been a very difficult year. What's one thing you feel you took for granted that maybe you're holding on to very, very closely right now?
For me, I think it's the ability to have the players, for individual workouts when it's, when you want them to come, when you work around their class schedule. And now with this going on, it doesn't work that way. And I'm sure that Jeff has a lot of bobbing and weaving and a lot of changes. And it's just a very, very difficult situation just to practice and just to have individual workouts, never mind trying to play the games, which are going to start, I guess, after Thanksgiving or right around November 25th. But just the day-to-day preparation and the day-to-day recruiting is going to be and has been, I'm sure, so difficult.
Coach Macarchuk or Frank, did either of you ever have a game canceled for any reason? It's happened through the years, but did you ever lose a game because of anything while you were a coach?
I had a couple of games I would like to have canceled, but no.
Well, we were supposed to open up with Iona here in November, but that game has already been canceled.
Yes.
Yeah, so we are going to start on December 3rd against Manhattan. And really, we just go into every night and wake up every morning with our fingers crossed, hoping that we're going to get to play the season.
I coached in Buffalo for 9 years. And when I was there, we had a lot of snow. They don't get much snow now, but we had a lot of snow. So we had a couple of games canceled when I was at Canisius. But at Fordham and Stony Brook, no, we didn't have any games canceled.
Coach Macarchuk, the guys I remember from your great teams. So first of all, Jay Fazand went to a rival high school of mine, and my career record against Jay Fazand's high school was 0-10, and 4 of those took place against Jay my senior year. So, he was a terrific guard. But then also Frank mentioned Prelo earlier. Just amazing guards that you got to coach.
Yeah, we were very lucky. We had, when I came, Frank brought me down and asked me what I thought about it, and we loved being there, my wife Pat and I. And I think that before we even got home, we said we were going to take the job. And so I brought with me 2 great guys, Dave Spiller and Stan Van Gundy, 2 of my assistants at Canisius came down, and they're the ones that went out and got players right away and kind of built the program with Prelude coming and then Jay coming a little bit later. And both of them were so smart and so intelligent, didn't turn the ball over, and knew who to get the ball to when. And that's so important if you have guards that are unselfish and don't care about themselves. Prelude could have shot every single time when he wanted to, because he had great quickness and strength and he could get to the basket. And Jay was more of a true point guard who wanted to make sure that everything was the way he wanted it to be, and then he would run our offense, because we had a lot of sets then, unlike today, with the high screen, and you guys just go play and try to get it into the middle with dribbling and drawing and then kicking it out to your shooters. But you're right. It starts with guards. I don't care what you say. We had a great big player, a strong big player in Damon Lopez, and great perimeter players in Freddie Herzog and Sanford Jenkins, David Buckner. We had good perimeter players. But it starts with your backcourt, with the people who handle the ball, deal with the pressure, bringing the ball up the court, and then making good decisions.
Yeah. And Coach, you mentioned Lopez. I've always been curious. When you were coaching him, did you think he would play in the NBA?
It's a funny story. My boys were home from Canisius, both my son Nick and Chris went to Canisius, and they came back for Christmas. And my son Patrick was in high school at Canisius High School. At Fordham Prep. And we all went down to watch a junior college game in New York City, and Damon was playing in that game, Westchester Community College. He didn't score a point. I don't think he got a rebound. And my guy said to me, "What the hell are you doing? You're going to recruit that kid?" And I said, "Yeah, I think he's got potential. He's got 3 years to play if this all works out with his eligibility. He's big and strong, and I've seen him play a couple of times, and he's not bad." And so he just kept getting better and better and developed, and just a tough guy, and he rebounded, and he played good interior defense, and he could score a little bit inside as well.
It's Frank McLaughlin from 70-71, Nick Macarchuk from 90-91, and current head coach Jeff Neubauer. Guys, great reflections, great talk, and good to be with you guys.